This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is the birthday boy.
Thank you so much,
Dave
Sean.
Oster.
And hello, everybody.
It's going to post on Dave's birthday, so in the comments below, shoot a Dave an HBD out in those comments. If you're listening on iTunes, you could shoot, I think, an HBD in comments. Are there comments on iTunes?
You know, I haven't been to iTunes in a while. I just get the podcast automatically shot to my phone.
I'm on Spotify, so I have no idea. But if you are on iTunes, if you're still listening on there, give us 5 stars on iTunes. We really appreciate it. If you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, you can definitely shoot comments over there. Definitely shoot an HBD to Dave. Thanks for downloading us. And then also check out patreon.com. We just got Christian joining the family over there. Now we got 3 people at that $10 tier. So we got 3 patrons giving their thoughts on our podcast. Patrick just joined Ricky and Brandon for some baseball talk. So check that out on the YouTube page. But let's jump into some soggy shooters. Let's get into Wet Boys. This is our 4th week doing Wet Boys.
This is week 4.
And we already have a repeat Wet Boy. Kristaps Porzingis has been absolutely on fire. Dave, talk about your boy.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame me? I mean, in the 3 games he has played this week, he's averaging 35 points, 7 boards, and get this, 4 blocks.
Jesus Christ.
4 blocks. I mean, he's been a monster. He is the reason why, the Knicks were like, are we taking this here? He's like, nah, we're not tanking.
And the cool
I'm just going right to the top.
The cool thing is they're 3-0.
They're
3-0 in those games. He is out right now with an elbow injury, so hopefully he can heal up and be all right.
I'm hoping it's minor. It's nothing to be too concerned about.
I think the whole talk is that there's going to be surgery on it during the offseason, but he can play through it right now. My Wet Boy, also 3-0 this week, and had a ridiculous stat line. At least starting November, he is 3-0 with his team. James Harden, 38.7 points per game, 11 assists, 3 rebounds, also averaging a steal per game. And the cool thing about him, a plus-minus average of 21.7.
Highlight that one game one game.
The one game and the last game that was finished. Right now they're currently taking on the Cavs, but the one that was finished, he went 19 to 25 from the field, 7 to 8 from 3, 11 from 12 from the line, 13 assists, 2 steals, and then obviously 56 points.
56 points.
James Harden popping off for 56. So Kristaps Porzingis, the first ever repeat Wet Boy on here, and then James Harden getting his first honor of the week. Let us know in the comments down below who your Wet Boy of the week is. But anyways, let's move on now to the Boston Celtics and whether they are better without Isaiah Thomas. Obviously starting the season 0-2, but losing to 2 good teams in Cleveland and Milwaukee, and now winners of 10 straight. What's been going right for the Boston Celtics out there, Dave?
Honestly, it's unselfish play and defense. I mean, they've lost a lot of guys, even during the season, before the season, doesn't matter. It's just next man up, and there's a lot of younger guys who are stepping up.
And you also look at Kyrie Irving, their big acquisition. I mean, obviously they lost Gordon Hayward, they brought him in, but Kyrie Irving was that big fish out there, and he has not only been great offensively, scoring 22.5 points over that 10-game stretch, he's also averaging 2 steals a game. He's really stepped up his defense out there.
Yeah.
What has Kyrie meant to this team, at least what you have seen on the court?
It's almost weird because I didn't expect him to come in as a leader of the team this early on. But he really is cementing a play style and effort level and kind of setting the bar for other players, which has been fantastic because it's beyond my expectations. And I think, honestly, it came to a shock to a lot of people. But with him setting the bar so high, you see other guys want to play up to his level. And when he's not on the court, doesn't drop off because you have defensive leaders like Marcus Smart out there, who he is probably one of the longest tenured Celtics at this point.
Yeah, I think probably the longest.
And he's killing it for him. And it's just... Because Isaiah was gone, they needed a leader. Kyrie stepped in. There was the questions, well, is he really going to be a leader because of, LeBron was always the guy? Not even a question anymore. 10 games in season, I've written it off, not worried.
And do you think this has been something that, he kind of picked up during the offseason of being a leader? Because obviously he was alone to start his career in Cleveland, had to be a leader of that team. It was a terrible team, but still had to be a leader in ways. He was a leader in Duke when he was a freshman there. Do you think that experience is still carried over? And do you think he was somewhat of a leader on the Cavs, or do you think it's more of a different feel now that he is with Boston?
I think it's very much a different feel because now it's what he says goes. And I think, honestly, his career up to this point has built him to be the way he is. He got to learn under LeBron James. And I don't want to be like LeBron was like, his sensei, and he's like, no, this is exactly how you do this. LeBron's not perfect. He didn't do
Kyrie is not
right.
the way he is because of LeBron, is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying that he's helped him get to where he is now. Because,
but I'm not saying like everything that Kyrie is because of LeBron.
No.
Like LeBron's obviously helped. I'm not saying that LeBron hasn't helped Kyrie at all, but this has been in
This
Kyrie.
is a lot of Kyrie. I think he learned some do's and don'ts from LeBron and the way the team and the locker room reacted to some public statements, some not so public statements. So I feel like the way he's gotten this team to regroup and honestly, they are following him. They follow his lead, and he brings a different level of intensity to their team.
And looking at Kyrie, and obviously just going a little bit away from him because he's been fantastic out there.
Yeah, I mean you can't really fault him.
He's been distributing the ball out there. He's been scoring. I mean, there was a play yesterday where he just went interweaved between like five, pretty much probably all five
the entire
Lakers
team,
and then just slid by Brook and tossed one off the glass. He's been fantastic out there, and obviously he was worth those draft picks and worth moving Jay Crowder over along with Zizek and Isaiah Thomas. But at least looking at the Celtics, do you think that they're better this year compared to last year without Isaiah Thomas? Because that's the big question that we're asking this
It's
video.
hard to say this early in the season because the big question is, the regular season games, well, they don't count for a ton. They definitely set the benchmark for the team. Will this team have a higher win-loss than last year? I honestly think regular season, yeah. And that's bizarre to me to say. The question is, when the playoffs happen, will they be resilient enough to take it to a series? And we've got a long way to go to find out. But for the now, this is a better team. This is a more balanced team. And this is a team that we're going to get to watch grow, which is even more impressive because the level of youth that is actually hitting the court and playing it's crazy because you've seen coaches over the past who are maybe a little against putting rookies in, or even second-year players. They'll work their way in.
It'll be that way. I mean,
we've seen Stan Van the same way. And it's just... This is Brad Stevens being like, no, these are our guys. We trust them. We know when to put them in games. We know when to put them in the right situations. And it's paid off for them across the board.
Yeah, I got to give a huge shout out to, the Boston Celtics organization because, I was crapping on Danny Ainge for not making a move, that he was always waiting for the right move to make. And I'll give him all the credit in the world for going out and getting Kyrie Irving and also, moving back to get his guy in Jason Tatum. When they said that, I thought it was complete bullshit.
Oh, yeah. It was
I remember calling him out in the podcast, being like, no, you weren't. Like, this is not a move that you wanted to make. You thought Markelle Fultz was the best player. Markelle Fultz went in, and Markelle Fultz would have came in and filled that Isaiah Thomas role, especially when he left down in the future. You didn't want Jason Tatum. You thought it was a good move for you. There's a reason why I'm not a GM.
Oh, yeah.
And a huge credit.
Hindsight 2020, this has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think
it's not really Jason Tatum exactly, but I think it's Jason Tatum's fit in Boston is the thing.
Exactly. He's ahead of the curve. It's a league that is going towards a bunch of oversized wings. And I think I heard it from like ESPN or something the other night, and it was, the Warriors have the most guys who are like above 6'5", basically.
It's the Bucks.
Yeah. It was like the Warriors are 1, the Bucks are like 3, and the Celtics actually had a very good, strong number of wings. And that's the thing is, you're going to a positionless NBA. You have players like Jaylen Brown, who last year at this time looked like he barely, deserved to be on the court. And the amount of growth he had throughout the year, and then in the playoffs, and now this year, like he's legit.
He's playing 32 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, Jaylen Brown's been great out there. And one thing, obviously he hasn't really found the everything yet. He's still pretty raw as a scorer.
I mean,
really still
kid's
athletic.
under 22.
No, but I'm just saying, but the thing is, he doesn't look lost out there.
Right.
He's not perfect out there. It's not like
his handles have improved a million times.
If he wasn't on this Boston Celtics team, I don't think we'd be talking as high as we are right now of him. But it's the way that I think Danny Ainge has built this team, and then also how Brad Stevens has coached this team. And when you look at it from top to bottom, I said Boston Celtics probably have the best organization besides the Golden State Warriors, at least with building and structure and the way that they've brought everything together. And the only reason why I put Boston underneath Golden State is because Golden State has had the results right now.
They got the rings.
I mean, the Celtics, they're trying to build that dynasty. You see all the picks, you see everything that they've accumulated, all these assets. I mean, obviously, right now the Golden State Warriors look unbeatable, at least down the road with Steph, Clay, Draymond, and Durant. But you look at Boston, and they have really primed themselves to be the contender in the East, at least in a few years. And looking at Boston, and this is the question I'm going to ask you, do you think that they have enough to do it this year to get it done, to overcome the Bucks, to overcome the Cavs, to overcome the Raptors, and get to the finals?
And everybody else, yeah.
Or do you think that this is just,
No,
right now
this is not fool's gold. This is not fool's gold. This is you should buy in on this team. Because
even with the injuries, because even though Jason Tatum, he was down, he's fine.
Yeah,
he was
and
negative.
Horford, this is a less severe concussion than last year, which caused him to miss a lot of time.
Hayward,
Hayward, obviously tragic injury. But
banged up. So, I mean, are you a little worried about that, or you think they're going to be fine?
I mean, I'm worried, yes, but I think in the long run, throughout the season, it's not going to be a problem. Like I said, I'm a little concerned for the series in the playoffs. Like, once you get to go in a 7-game series, you find every weakness about a team. You game plan for them. You learn things in and out night after night, and you can shut things down. And that's where it comes to how well can their depth step up. Because we've seen Terry Rozier has played really well to start this year. Marcus Smart, again, excellent job this year. It's just nothing but good because they've been playing so well. The big question for me is they didn't really get a solution to their biggest problem last year, which was getting boards.
Yep.
And that's where they're going to get dominated. And we've seen with the emergence from the Raptors of Valanciunas, gain more playing time and taking over, being dominated against the boards. The big concern is matchup-wise. If they go up against a team like the Raptors, I think that could be a problem for them. But if they go up against a team like the Cavaliers even, who don't have a dominant big, you know, you got Fat K Love out there, but like we don't know if that's going to show up every night for them.
But then you also got LeBron James. You don't want to toss out LeBron James. I mean, he's good for seven rebounds every night.
Yeah, but the great thing is so is Jay Tace, so is Jaylen Brown.
But the one thing I want to mention about Boston is obviously the defense. We mentioned that earlier.
Yes.
Right now they're the best defensive team in the league.
Yeah.
And you bring up rebounds. I completely agree with you because you at least look at the single players on those teams, and I don't see a great rebounder on there.
Right.
But the whole thing about the Boston Celtics is they are a team, and right now they're 5th in the league in reboundings, and they have a +5 differential when it comes to rebounds. So they're being able to dominate the boards so far if they're able to keep up. I think that success is real. However, if they're not able to keep it up, and we see the playoffs and we see that rebounding number go down, and obviously the points are going to go up, you know, what they're letting up, but still defensively, this team looks stacked. I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to keep the pace that they're currently going on. I mean, you look at the past couple wins, I think out of 4 of the 10 have been only single digits. The other ones have been, you know, double-digit blowouts.
Yeah.
So I think, obviously, once we get away from the regular season, I think that the flaws, at least rebounding, will show. But right now, I think a huge part of why they're winning is because they've been able to dominate the boards and they've been able to win the boards. So I think I agree with you that it's not anything that is unwarranted. I don't think this is, you know, fool's gold like you said. But I think there are you know, holes in the armor where they could get through, and obviously down the road, if injuries persist, or you know, if no one steps up as a big rebounder, this is what can really.
That's my question for you. What can they do for the rest of this regular season to make you feel better going into the playoffs?
I think obviously stay healthy is one thing, and that's probably the only thing that I would say because the talent's there. I mean, you're not going to get Gordon Hayward back, and looking at the talent currently out there, Al Horford has been great. Kyrie Irving's been great. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum have been great. They can obviously improve, but they're still young and they will improve. And then you still look at Marcus Smart. He's back there. He's a stalwart on defense.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Terry Rozier. He's been good. So I think really as long as they stay healthy, I think they'll be fine. It's just really once they get to the playoffs, will this leadership continue? Who's going to be that leader? And then will the Gordon Hayward injury be that big of a kick in the ass? Because when you're going up against Cleveland, you know, having Gordon Hayward is going to give you that extra edge. Going up against Milwaukee, having Gordon Hayward will give you that extra edge. But if you're looking at least the landscape in the East, would you put Boston at 1 right now?
Yeah, it's hard to go away from Boston. It's the hottest team in the league for a reason, and it's not fluky. That's the scary thing. It's not one of these like 1-point wins. Shit just goes in, you know.
Well, they're not the Magic.
No.
Because right now the Magic are losing to the Bulls. We make a whole video about them, and now they make us look stupid. And this is why you don't trust the Orlando Magic and Nikola Vucevic. But anyways, let us know what you think about the Celtics down below. Dave and I don't think that this is anything, you know, I don't know any words today. Unflappable. Is that a word?
Unflappable. I'll take unflappable.
I don't think there's anything that's unflappable. I don't think there's anything.
They will not be flapped.
This is not a mirage for the Boston Celtics. I think this is a team, obviously, coming into a.
I don't think they're never going to lose again, but I think this is.
They're not going to be, you know, going 72 wins, but at least looking at the Celtics, you know, I think this is something that is for sure. We talked about it early on in the season, but getting this kind of results early is very shocking for the Celtics. I don't think they're better with Isaiah Thomas. I just think that you have Brad Stevens still. I think that was the reason. That was the magic with the whole Boston Celtics. But let us know what you think down in the comments below. But let's get into the next topic, and we're talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder and if we should be worried about them. Russ saying it's not time to panic. He said it's early on in the season. He said we'll be better, so I'm not worried. So Russ saying that they should be fine. Obviously making the trades for Carmelo Anthony and Paul George haven't really yielded that many results right now. I think 3 straight losses for the Thunder right now, and they currently have a 4-6 record. So should we be worried about the Oklahoma City Thunder.
No, and I'm going to say this being the cockiest Dave I can be. I told you so. I told you this team would struggle early on.
Well, did anyone say that they weren't?
I think some people were bought into their first couple of wins.
See, I wasn't here for the Melo trade.
All right.
I was away. I think it was at Riot Fest. I wasn't here. I wasn't able to talk to you guys about it, so I don't remember what you and Ricky said.
Whatever. You didn't hear it. But I did say it because I was afraid of how this team would work together with those three on the court at the same time. Like, it's a different dynamic than bringing together a big three of, LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. It's different than putting together big threes that already existed.
They also didn't work together, though. Remember the start of that? I mean, they had to call in Spoelstra. Everyone thought Spoelstra was going to fire it. I mean, they're like, oh, everyone, you have all of these three, huge stars, and it's not working. Fire Spoelstra, bring in Pat Riley to coach the team, and then you just needed time. So you're just saying you need a little bit of time.
You need a little time. Let it simmer. Let it build together. Because look, the big complaint right now, I think, is the offense is not gelling together correct. The way they want to. It's stagnant. I've seen out there. Honestly, it's just the fact they need to learn when each one is feeling it and feed that guy because. I almost want to be like, what worked for you when you played together last? It was the Olympics, and it was very much a relaxed game. It's a different game. Like the Olympics, Hoodie Mellow, all that fun stuff is fun. Regular season, different game. Playoffs, totally different game. So they've got to put it together and seriously consider, like, all right, tonight, who's feeling it? So far this season, it has been Paul George, not on a consistent basis. He has been the odd man out. Melo's looked rejuvenated, which is awesome.
Yep.
Russ at times has looked like himself last year. At times has looked like his bad self from the KD days when he was getting a little greedy, I'll say. But the problem is outside of those three, how does this team function? How do you do substitutions? How do you balance that team and that bench and make sure that they don't go -10 in 14 minutes,
and the one thing I want to bring up, at least with Russ, and I think this is something that he's got to learn with, and you mentioned it, it's kind of, I don't want to say selfishness, but it's at least distributing the ball. You look at, in his wins, he has 55 assists. You look at his losses, and there's more losses than wins, so I mean, they played 4 more games where they've won, and 6 more games where they've lost. 55 assists in the wins, and then 54 assists in losses.
So in 2 additional games, he got -1 assist.
Yes, -1 assist. So it's just something that he's got to pass the ball more. You also look at the usage ratings in those games, 29.7% in those wins, 33 in the losses. So you can just tell that it's. I'm not saying it's all on Russ, but I think it's just more of a growing period for at least Russ there. But I'm still a little bit worried because you look at their losses. 5 of them, they're 0-5 against the Western Conference. That includes the Kings. So that's something that does worry me because even though there's need to be a gelling here, they're not stepping up at the right time. Great, you went 4-1 against the Eastern Conference. You're not playing them in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs.
You get a gold sticker for that one.
That's something that worries me, and I think that's something that obviously is going to take time. And playoffs are a long way away. There are only 10 games into the season. You still got 72 left. But it's something that worries me because if you're not able to gain that confidence quick enough, we know that Carmelo can be a guy that's super toxic in the locker room. We know that Paul George was pretty toxic back in Indiana, and if he gets to that point, where he's like, oh fuck it, I'm done with this team. Like we're not going to be good.
Like I catch you in LA.
I'm leaving. Yeah, catch you in LA. And Russ, I mean, even though he has re-signed, he is a guy that's saying this is my team, and if he wants to be the guy with the ball in his hands, they're paying him money for the next 5 years. So Russ is going to get what he wants, and Russ is going to be catered to his needs. So I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but I'm saying that is something that I could see happening in the long run, and that's how I could see worrying setting in. I don't think you should be worrying right now because again, it's only 10 games, but I feel like at some point there's got to be a turnaround. I feel like it's got to be on Russ's shoulders to at least say, hey, I need to pass the ball more. I need to get these guys at least into the game plan a little bit more.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. And the question there is because Russ feels like it's on his shoulders, he does the opposite of what you expect him to. He puts it on his shoulders and he keeps the ball in his hands. He feels like he needs to play hero ball more so than get the ball spread around, make sure everybody's involved, and make sure that you have a balanced plan of attack. Make sure that everybody's involved and engaged in the game because otherwise you get people taking plays off on defense. You see repercussions of that on both sides of the court. So when you have people who aren't involved, they're going to take plays off. They're going to not care as much, and they're going to feel demotivated. It's just a matter of making sure that he is the floor commander that he needs to be. And, I mean, if he dragged a trash team last year to the playoffs, there is no excuse that this team cannot grow over this year and make it in the playoffs.
Well, and at least with the usage across the board, I mean, when you look at in their wins, 29 usage for Melo, 27 for Paul George, and I think 29 for Russ as well. So, I mean, those are pretty even out when you look at the usage ratings. And I feel like once you get those guys combined and together, that is at least going to at least yield in positive results. At least looking out on the floor, though, in the first 10 games, what have you liked from those three out on the floor? And do you think that there is enough there to be positive about what we've seen so far?
I mean, the easy takeaway is Russ is still putting up close to triple-double numbers on a stat sheet. I mean, that doesn't really display what he's doing on the floor, but it's
doesn't mean shit.
Right. I mean, why are we saying triple-double is good all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Melo's at least back to giving a fuck, which is amazing because watching Melo wear away in New York and he was a shell of himself at the end. He didn't care. And it's been hilarious to watch their turnaround and positiveness without him there. Him and OKC to start the season, loving it. He is back. He is all in. And he's actually playing really, really high-level basketball. The big question to me is, back to Paul George, I don't understand his lack of a fit on this team. We talked about how much of an excellent catch-and-shoot player he was and his time in Indiana, but so far this season, not been as successful. I don't know if it's he needs to get in his groove before he gets there. Maybe I'm just guessing in the dark.
Well, really, I mean, the stats pretty much tell the thing. Again, in losses, he's shooting 33% from the field. In wins, he's shooting 33% from three. In wins, he's shooting 48% from three. He's scoring 19 points a game. Yeah. It's really just about getting these guys involved. And I think one thing that they've gone away from, at least too much, is you look at the wins. Russ is averaging a triple-double, and we saw the magic and the secret sauce last year. It was Russ grabs the rebounds, let's push and transition. I feel like that was working for them. And I feel like when they go away from that a little bit, Russ tries to play hero ball, or Paul George starts it and tries to lead the transition in the fast break offense. That's not working for him. When Melo tries to do it, it's not working for them. I feel like Russ needs to be that catalyst, and he needs to be smart with his decision-making a little bit more. And now I'm looking a little bit at Billy Donovan, not saying he should be fired or anything, but it's something that I do look at him and saying, hey, this is when you step in and say, hey, this is what we need to fucking do. And right now, at least a little bit later, we're recording this on Thursday, they're going to be taking on the Nuggets, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do in that game and how they do push forward. But then again, that's only one game. There's 71 games after that, and they got to keep this a little bit more consistent. So looking at it, just final thoughts on this. Looking at playoffs, are you a little bit more weary to at least push the Thunder a little deeper? Is this wavering your confidence, or like you said earlier, is this just what you expected and you feel like this team is too much talent really to be written off? Too much talent to fail, too big to fail. But there's no bench. It's going to take time for them to find their way to transition people in and out of the lineup. That's the biggest problem in my mind right now, is mixing up, if George is off, is Westbrook and Melo going to be out there? How do you run offensive sets with one of their big three missing? They don't have that figured out yet. If they do go for a trade, because we've seen Sam Presti ball out on trade deadlines, we've seen him just ball out in general. Yeah. What is this piece that the team needs? Because obviously they got rid of Cantor. He's no longer on the team, and that was a big part of their success last year. There's not a lot of bench scoring. I think they need a combo guard, somebody who's comfortable distributing the ball. The problem is those usually don't come super cheap. You might be able to get somebody honestly, if Detroit bombs out this year, if you can get Ish for a deal, he's one of the best backup point guards in the league. I think that would be amazing for them. The problem is they've used so much of their capital to get these guys in. I don't know what they can get back value-wise, so there are some names out there for backup point guards. You don't have one right now. You have Ray Felton. No. Just no. You need to get a combo guard. You need to get somebody who can come off that bench and let Russ take a breather and continue that offensive continuity. We're calling you out, Raymond Felton. You and Sean May are bums. Oh. Fucking bums. 2005 Tar Heels. I hate Sean May because of that. For real. Yeah. D. Brown was my favorite player. Those high white socks, I rocked those. And I looked super stupid in my basement shooting on a Little Tykes basketball hoop trying to be D. Brown. I will be the first one to admit that. But I agree with you. I think that the one thing they do need is scoring off this bench, because I think you see, they drafted Terrence Ferguson. I was going to say Tony Ferguson. He's a USC fighter. Terrence Ferguson, and he's been slow right now. You can tell he's a rookie. He has the ability to score, but, asking that much from a rookie, I know that Boston's doing that right now, and we talked about them a little bit earlier, but that's different. They're being put into the situation to succeed where you can't really push it on Terrence Ferguson to be like, hey, you now need to be one of our secondary scorers. And I don't see a secondary scorer on that bench. You have three great scorers, and then I wonder, at least you talk about the lineups, maybe you do switch it around, but you're not going to be able to put Carmelo or Paul George.
The problem is
bench.
if two of them on the bench at the same time, then you're just fucked.
But
like,
if those two are Paul George and Carmelo, I trust Russ, weirdly enough, because he showed us last year they could do that.
If Russ is not out there, that turns into the question of how does this team work?
And that's why I think I agree with you when you need a combo guard.
Yeah.
You at least need a
true point would be
guard.
great, but like I'm leaning towards combo because of their budget.
No, I agree with you. I think you need someone back there to be a backup. And like if Drew Holiday wasn't exactly needed right now, if he was on a worse team, I feel like Drew Holiday would be the guy to back him up, or possibly Darren Collison. I would like to see Collison moved over there because we've seen him be very effective, and I don't know exactly what the Pacers would want from him if they're able to hawk up a couple draft picks.
I mean, they already got a connection going already, so you might as well keep running that alley.
Maybe they bring back Depot. Oh. He's a combo guard.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think about the Oklahoma City Thunder down in the comments below. Who, if they should trade for anybody, who should they trade for? And also, just looking at them, are you worried about the Oklahoma City Thunder? Is it just too much talent on one team? Kind of what my worries about the Cleveland Cavaliers was. You got a lot of talent, but it's not cohesive talent.
Right.
Do you think that is a problem with the Oklahoma City Thunder, or is it just 10 games too early to tell? I feel like it's 10 games too early, but I feel like there are some weaknesses in this team. Clearly. Dave is just saying that it's too early to call whether there is a weakness or not, but let us know what you think down in the comments below. But let's move on now to Los Angeles, where we're going to be talking about Julius Randle and his contract situation and looking at it. Next year, they do have a team option that they can pick up for him, but then after that, he is a restricted free agent where he can test the market. They can match those offers, though. But the talk is, should they trade him? Because back in October, they passed the deadline where he could sign an extension. They went their separate ways. There was cordial conversations according to Ramon Shelberg, but everyone understands the cap issues that are there. Obviously, Brook Lopez, they want to keep some cap in case LeBron wants to come over.
2 max contracts.
Yeah, possibly Paul George as well. So they went away from that, and they can also receive a quality offer, like I said, 2019, then also sign an extension next summer. So there are still some moves there for Julius Randle to be kept in Los Angeles, but obviously, the talk about 2 max contracts. You also look at Kyle Kuzma, who plays his position, looking real good. Larry Nance, who just got injured, unfortunately, for I believe 6 to 8 weeks, also has looked nice playing his position as well. So now the talk is they have some value in Julius Randle. Should they be trading him, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, it's an awkward position to be in because you have are you afraid to let him walk at the end of the year and lose nothing? And, like, you don't get anything back for what was a very high draft pick. Was he, like, 7 or 9? 7 overall. I mean, yeah, he hasn't worked out phenomenally for you right now, but to be fair, like the teams he was on weren't exactly meant to succeed either. Yeah. So it's a lot about usage and how that was going to come together. Like he has the physical skill to be in the NBA, to be legit.
What? Are you giving him credit?
I'm going to regret this.
You're giving Julius Randle credit.
I'm giving Julius Randle credit.
He has talent? I thought he was a talentless hack, according to you.
He's a bum. No, he has been motivated. Like, there's a difference between motivated Julius Randle and the one we've seen for the majority of his career, in my belief. Like, this year, basically, he got pushed to the back seat because Nance and Kuzma have looked really good. Nance, that starting lineup. You can't play Nance and Randle together. That's bad. We watched it last year. That does not work for them offensively or defensively. But when you have Kuzma and Randle out there, you hit a weird groove with Randle playing like the Tristan Thompson kind of a undersized center role for small ball, and he's going out there. He's being aggressive. He's coming off the bench, and he's doing everything right now. So the question is like, hey, his stock is high. If we're really all in on the 2 max contract free agents this upcoming year, should we see what's out there for him?
No, I completely agree. And looking at Randle, I agree with your assessment that he does have talent. I love Julius Randle. I think that he is a guy fit for this NBA. You also mentioned the Tristan Thompson comparison. I agree with you, but I feel like he's a little bit more polished as a scorer. At least I think he's got better moves down low than TT.
I think he could be more versatile, too. Like,
that's the thing. He's not a great shooter, and that's one thing that's a knock on him, but he is very quick. I mean, this is a guy that is more of a bowling ball compared to TT, who's probably a little bit lengthy and a little more athletic, but he is a guy that can put a body on somebody, and he always reminded me in some ways of Draymond Green, at least the way he's built. Definitely completely different players, but at least the way that they're built, I see defensive upside to him, at least with his size, with his wingspan, with his athleticism. I see the defensive prowess in him, but I think you hit the nail on the head. He just seems motivated out there, and coming off the bench and pairing with Kuzma, with Kuzma's ability to stretch the floor, and then Randle coming in and being down low. You also see the uptick in his field goal percentage. He's being able to get high percentage shots. He's been able to capitalize on those, and I really like what Julius Randle brings to this team. But I think, I agree with you in the fact that they probably should trade him because he is having his best moments right now, and you have Kyle Kuzma and Larry Nance who already fit that role and will be cheaper down the line, because you look at Larry Nance, and the thing is, you talked about this. You said that they should be starting Nance over Randle this year anyways.
Called it.
But the one thing that at least, that Randle has and Nance and Kuzma don't have is that they were both second-round draft picks, where Randle is expecting to be, hey, I'm a first-round draft pick. I deserve money. You had the faith in me. I haven't really been able to prove myself, so I deserve a bigger contract. You have the what if with Julius Randle, where you can probably make the argument that what you're seeing from Randle what you're seeing from Larry Nance right now is what you're going to get out of Larry Nance, 5 years down the road. What you're getting from Kyle Kuzma right now, albeit ridiculous, that's what you're going to get. Probably the Malcolm Brogdon of this class, if we're giving out the Malcolm Brogdon award early. Yeah. But with Randle, there is that potential that you could sell, and that's why I would probably say it would be smart to move him if you are looking to at least move. Like, if you're not going to re-sign him, then definitely move him as soon as possible, because his stock won't be higher. Yeah,
the question there is, if you truly believe that if the Lakers believe, if the Lakers believe this is the cap of what Randle is worth, I agree with you. The question is how all in are they on this 2 max contract for 2018 free agency? Like, this is really going to be a test of Magic's prowess as the owner, as the shot caller for this organization. And I'm on the fence even. I'm like, I don't know. You got a couple of young kids out there who look like they're starting to play together a little bit. I like to see where this goes. But at the same time, are you going to throw away a chance at getting a LeBron James and Paul George combo, maybe in like Boogie Cousins? Like, there are names out there. There's a reason this is
some juicy names.
Potential. But like, are you going to throw away potential youth time for getting LeBron? I know he's no longer peak at 30. He'll be 36.
Shut up. LeBron's still at his peak.
He's still peak.
LeBron
will never not peak.
LeBron's going to be 33.
Oh, he's only 33. Okay,
yeah,
so by
33.
the end of his contract, he'd be 36 or 37.
If it's a 4-year deal, it'd be 37.
Yeah.
But it's LeBron James. This kid came in. He came in as a newborn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now
he'll be in the league for like 25 years.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
So the question is, like, how all in are the Lakers towards that plan? Have they seen enough? Like, honestly, after watching, let's go over Action City, Lonzo Ball for the first 10 games definitely has skill out there. Can't shoot the ball. No. But, are you comfortable with having him be on a team with excellent players?
Is he the guy? And does he have the mentality to be in LA?
Is Brandon Ingram the guy?
Yeah, and
is Kyle Kuzma the guy?
And looking at it, I think let's talk about let's just go on the max contract, because again, you have to develop like who is the guy and who will be the guy, because right now LeBron James is the guy in the NBA. And if that guy is available, it'd be stupid not to at least entertain an offer out there. And you mentioned looking at the guy. If there's anyone so far that's proven me, like, throughout their Laker career, they can be the guy, it's fucking Kyle Kuzma, the second-round draft pick who's looked unreal.
No, late one.
Oh, late one, I forgot.
Yeah.
My bad. They traded up for him, I forgot. But at least, he's been the guy that I look at and I'm like, holy shit, he looks really good.
He just drops it.
Lonzo, I know he's very young. I think Bender's still younger than him, but still, he's not 20 yet, I'm pretty sure Lonzo is.
He's right around there.
I think he's younger than me. But looking at him, he just looks mentally weak out there. His shot has always looked like trash. He's not going to fix it. You don't really know if he can be that leader out there. He still has the passing ability, but is he quick enough to be in this NBA? You look at Ingram. Last year was just really bad.
Dumpster.
He still has potential, but then again,
he's looked good this year.
Yeah, but then again, like, how much does that do to Lonzo? And if you're getting rid of Lonzo, then what is Brandon Ingram? And is Brandon Ingram his own player, or is he being brought up by right now the Lakers at 5 and 6?
So what? I guess at the end of the day, it comes down to your question of, do you believe in Lonzo, Ingram, Kuzma more than
and Randle
and
Nance
as your core?
Jordan Clarkson,
give or take, who cares? No, I love him, but as your core, or do you go all in and hope that you can land a LeBron James, Boogie, a Paul George, and you know you need 2 out of 3 basically to compete against OKC. If you don't land 2 out of 3, you let someone like Julius Randle, who we haven't seen peak yet, walk away for free.
Well, and he's super young too, and that's the thing that I look at him and I don't know exactly, because I don't want to let a 22-year-old about to be a 23-year-old walk out that door, and you're gonna get value for him because you're gonna trade him. I don't think Magic is that dumb to let him walk away, not getting any value there. But
they could play it risky and go to the end of the year and be like, all right, here's our intentions. And I mean, if
they still
they
have
miss
they still have him. They could still pick up that club option.
Yeah, but
year,
it's
and that's only for 5.5. So that's not a lot. I feel like they're going to be smart enough and at least pick him up for the 5.5 and try to dish him out. And you're still going to be able to get some value. You might not be able to get the right value for him, but again, I look at it, all of it, and I hate going away from a rebuild and bringing in value, but also you're usually not going away from a rebuild to bring in the best player in the NBA. But then again, you look at it, it's like you're getting 4 years of LeBron. Is he going to stay after that contract? And then also, what is LeBron going to be at 37, 38, 39, 40 years old? And you don't know if you want to put all that stock because you just did that with Kobe late into his years, and you let that go on for too long. So if I was the Los Angeles Lakers, I would feel like very confident picking up that next club option for Julius Randle. And I feel like I'd go away from Larry Nance if I was building this team and not worrying about value. I would go away from Larry Nance, keeping Randle and keeping Kuzma. But then again, Randle has that value, and if you're going for a rebuild, or if you're bringing in a LeBron James, that value then can bring other value in trading a draft pick that you got for Julius Randle, and then bringing in a shooter to surround LeBron James.
Yeah.
So I think it's still murky waters because we don't know exactly how everything's going to play out. But I feel like the Lakers will probably move on from Julius Randle, and I don't know if they will regret it or not, because I think Julius Randle's going to be a great player, but then again, I'd rather have LeBron James over Julius Randle.
Like you said, who's going to pass up on the opportunity to land the best player in the NBA and potentially another top 20, 25 player?
Yeah.
It's hard to walk away from that.
Especially if they get Boogie. I mean, it's a top 10. You got 2 top 10
What
players.
do you think the value is for Julius Randle right now for this Lakers team?
Oh, like to the Lakers?
Yeah, no, like
or
for a trade, to entertain a trade offer.
So to the league.
Yeah. Do you think you can get back a mid to late 1?
You can get a first.
You can get a first?
You can totally get a first. I mean, if you look at what Ja was not being able to pull, I feel like you're going to be able to pull first.
Look at the Bledsoe deal. I mean, that kind of sets a benchmark for this.
I mean, 27-year-old who is already under contract and get out for 2 more years.
On a contract controlled for very cheap for what he can do for you. But he does have the injury concerns.
But with Randle, I don't think they're trading him this year. I don't think they're going to get rid of him this year. And I feel like they're going to keep him for that club option. And then that whole thing's going to come up of, we're going to have to re-sign this guy. And that's going to bring it down his value. I feel like just due to his potential and his physical abilities, I feel like you can get like a mid-first.
Mid-1. That might be worth it this year.
I'm saying like a late lottery. It's like probably a lotto protected.
Of all the years to do it, is this not one of the most loaded draft classes? Is now not the time to go in, because that way your contracts line up better for when you have people coming contracts due, plus your big free agent pickups. I wonder if now is not the time to pull the trigger.
You think there's a fit out there for Randle that sticks out in your mind?
A fit?
Like any team out there that's clear in your mind? Because you brought up Tristan Thompson, looking at the Cavs. It's not going to help them defensively.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's
I don't know.
What are the Cavs going to give? They're not going to get the Brooklyn pick.
I'm just trying to think.
No. I'm not sure
Milwaukee?
where it's... No, what are they going to give up? They're not going to give up Don Baker.
Just take out. I'm saying just fit, buddy. Just fit. Do you see any fit out there for?
I mean, I think he'd be a great fit for a team like the Wizards, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, I mean, if they could work out some... the problem is the Wizards are trying to shed some awful contracts.
Yeah.
And the Lakers can't take anything on right now.
No.
So it's a lose-lose. I don't know what team that he would land on. I think he's definitely talented.
Phoenix?
Yeah, because Phoenix needs another 4-5.
I'm just asking.
Like they're gonna go after Ja.
There's talks about them getting Ja. There's talks about them getting Ja. They're trading Greg Monroe.
None
they're
of this
gonna buy
makes
him out.
sense.
They're gonna buy out Greg Monroe. Greg Monroe's not gonna be a son by Christmas time. He's gonna be homeless.
Fair enough.
But at least I don't know.
Until he becomes a Cavs. But
yeah. Portland's gonna fucking trade for Julius Randle. There's your hot take.
I think there's definitely teams who are interested. I can't think of a trade on the line.
Should be interested.
I can't think of a team at the moment, but I definitely think there's going to be value. I think that you're right. I think the range between 15 to 30, probably late first round, probably the best that they're going to get. maybe the question then becomes, are you going to staple that to Dang? To move Dang out of town.
That'd be smart.
Because that instantly swings the
But then again, I don't know what
away.
team could take on Randle and Dang. That's the thing.
That puts it out there.
This is why we're not GMs, and you guys are going to tell us in the comments how great of GMs you are, and you're going to have some magic deal for us, so tell us down in the comments what deal the Lakers should look for if they should trade Julius Randle. Also let us know if they should trade Julius Randle. I am hesitant about it, but I think ultimately they are going to end up because they have three similar players, and the guy that has the most value is going to be traded because they're not really pulling away from each other exactly. And you're going to trade the guy with the most value, and that is Julius Randle. But again, let us know what you think down in the comments below. But that's going to wrap up the Fast Break podcast. Again, check out YouTube tomorrow. If you're watching on YouTube tomorrow, the OT edition's coming out. We're talking about best prospects in the upcoming NBA draft. If you're on Blog Talk Radio, you got to wait till, I'm not terrible with math, so like Tuesday or Monday of next week to watch that OT edition. If you're listening on iTunes, same goes for you. If you are listening on iTunes, don't forget to rate the Fast Break podcast 5 stars. Also check out the Primetime Podcast, Onside Kick, and Rick and Johnny. Also rate those 5 stars if you are so kind. Also, if you are on Blog Talk Radio, definitely give us a shout out on there. I don't think there's a rating system over there, but if you're listening on Blog Talk Radio, we love you.
Throw out 5 stars anyway.
We love you so much. And then also check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Christian, Jake, and Pat have all helped us out over there, and you can definitely help us out at that $10 mark if you want, but there's also some cool ones like the $2 mark. You get the monthly Patreon exclusive podcast. But for Dave Oster, I'm Sean Anderson. We'll see you next time.